Well, we know that it's raining here in Accra and elsewhere in the middle belt of the country, as well as the coastal areas. Well, if you know that you live in some of those flood-prone areas, please be careful. June 3 just around the corner. We know that it's been 3 years since that disaster occurred. So please, let's all be careful. But in the meantime, let's get trending. Good morning to you, Fred Portefe. He's our lead director for the morning, as well as Derek Ekolsam, who is also saying good morning to the one who barbers him. Lives at Fadama, Alhaji Suli. Okay, so let's get to the Daily Graphic and get to review the Daily Graphic. Front page of the Daily Graphic, we have Opuni demands document, files motion at High Court. We brought you that story. And basically, the story on page 3 is... just giving us an indication of what the legal team of Dr. Stephen Opuni is demanding. It says former chief executive of the Cocoa Board, Dr. Stephen Opuni, is standing trial for allegedly causing financial loss of some 271 million Ghana cedis to the state, and wants all the document that the Attorney General would use to prosecute him. And so his lawyers have consequently filed a motion praying the Accra High Court to order the Ages Department to give them access to all documents in their custody related to the case and to the client, etc. So you go to page 3 of the paper, it's there fully there. Then we have nurse remanded for raping patient. The story is on page 16 of a paper, the Daily Graphic. Principally says that the 28-year-old nurse of the Damango Government Hospital was yesterday remanded by the Tamale District Court for allegedly raping a 24-year-old Italian lady who was apparently on admission at the health facility. And the accused, Ernest Green, whose plea was not taken in court, was remanded by the court, presided over by Dr. Mr. Anthony Asa, to allow for further investigations by the police. Other stories we have, it says Teshi residents accuse Zoom Park of dumping refuse, but CEO denies complicity. The story is on page 16. It says residents of Teshi Fertilizer in the Lejokuku Krowo municipality are up in arms against Zoom Park Ghana Limited, a waste transfer station, for allowing its immediate surroundings to be used as a refuse disposal site, a situation which is causing environmental pollution and affecting their health. The stench emanating from the refuse site finds its way into people's homes, which has got the residents to ask why Zoom Park, transfer or transit service provider in Ghana was at minor purpose for which it was constructed. So you have to get to page 16 of the Daily Graphic and read that story. But you have to turn to page 20 for the full version of the Ghana-U.S. military agreement. It's the real caption is the Ghana-U.S. military cooperation agreement. So it's on page 20 of the Daily Graphic. They have provided everything you need to know. So you go to page 20, it's there, live, sharp. Continued on page 26 as well. Everything is there. On the back page, tractor services to cover 15,000 farmers in Upper West region. 2-year smallholder agricultural mechanization project for rural farmers aimed at improving nutrition and reducing poverty has been launched in the Upper West region, and the project being implemented by Trotro Tractor Limited, a startup in collaboration with the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa and Agro Africa, is to distribute tractors to various locations across the region to be accessed by mobile phones. The initiative, targeted at more than 15,000 farmers, is expected to end the perennial inadequate tractor services in the region. Trotro Tractor Limited, which competed in the Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge, seeks to assist more rural farmers, especially women, to access tractor services during the one-season farming period in the region, will start from May to October. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Jolo, that's on the back page of the Daily Graphic. It says Jolo chiefs appeal for palm oil factory under the One District, One Factory initiative. Now let's get to the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times has a story. Opuni fights back, files suit against state for document witnesses. 217 million Ghana cedi financial loss case And we know that this was also on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Is there? Police clamp down on sex workers at La. That story is on page 3. They give you how the police were able to clamp down on sex workers in La or Labadi here in Accra. It says the La District Police Command in the Greater Accra region, they have arrested 18 suspected commercial sex workers and a male patron in Accra last Sunday. The 5 Ghanaian women and 30 Nigerian women and the man between the ages of 16 and 37 were apprehended at La area where landlords were reported to have transformed their rooms into brothels for commercial sex workers. And the La District Police Crime Officer, Assistant Superintendent of Police Richard Dapla, confirmed the arrest to the Ghanaian Times. You go to page 3, you have all the stories there. GJA had to push for laws to protect journalists, and that's on page 16. And we know that it's also coming on the back or the heels of what has happened to our own comrade, our own friend, our own colleague here, Latif Idris, following that brutal beating that was meted out to him by personnel suspected of the Ghana Police Service. So far, the hierarchy or management of the Ghana Police Service has still not brought anybody to book on that subject. The chairman of the National Media Commission, Nana Kwesi Jang Apenting, has urged the GJA to push for the enactment or inaction of laws that ensure the protection of journalists in the discharge of their duties. All right. So those basically we're told family of 6 dead workers at a Ahafo mine slum Newmont, and we brought you details of the story the whole of the last 24 hours, and that's what we're doing. We'll continue to bring you more details as to what and how far investigations have gone. Housing booth for journalists GJ Kwan's estate seal deal. It says the Ghana Journalists Association yesterday signed an MOU with Kwan's Estate Limited, a leading real estate developer, to build 100 housing units for practitioners across the country. And the move is aimed at improving the living conditions of journalists by providing them with decent accommodation at a reasonable price. The houses, which come in 2- and 3-bedroom expandable units, are projected to cost 60,000 and 80,000 Ghana cedis respectively. It is expected to be located at the Eastern Hilt at Pampasonier in Sawam in the Eastern region. The president of the GJA, Mr. Alpha Money, and the chairman of the National Media Commission, they signed the MOU on behalf of the association. So we have a number of all the stories on the back page. But let's go to the Daily Guide newspaper. Well, the Daily Guide newspaper has some interesting details about Mahama ministers in double salary scandal, and man butcher's father at Okrase. Opuni fights back. 2 Kwabenya escapees get 66 months imprisonment. But the main story is about Mahama ministers in double salary scandal. You can trust the Daily Guide to bring you all the best of stories as far as the tabloid publications are concerned. They have the same information reaching Daily Guide, as they always usually will put it. It indicates that some 22 ministers under the erstwhile Mahama administration were taking double salaries, and the information indicates that the ministers who were members of parliament were drawing salaries as MPs and at the same time receiving their monthly salaries as ministers, contrary to the law. Some of the ministers involved are said to have agreed to refund the monies back to the state when they were confronted by security agents. And they mentioned a number of people, as Alban Gbagbe MP for Nadoli West in the Upper West region, E.T. Mensah, Haruna Idrisu, Ama Kofi Boa, Neil Ante van der Poy, a number of others. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so there's a man butcher's father at Okrase. Where's that story? That story should be. Okay, so it's on page 3 of the paper. It says Kelvin Quest Agbenyaga, a 29-year-old unemployed man, is said to be currently in the grips of the police for allegedly butchering his father to death at Okrase in the Ikropon North municipality of the Eastern region. Emmanuel de Graft Quist Benyaga, whose body has since been deposited at the morgue pending autopsy, was a retired accountant. And family sources told the Daily Guide that the suspect dropped out of the Pentecost Senior High School as a result of his poor academic performance. The sources claimed he had been accusing his father of not supporting him to secure a job after his education got terminated. According to the sources, an argument is said to have ensued between the suspect and his father just Monday, but it is unclear what triggered the misunderstanding. And the suspect allegedly took a cutlass used by his father to pluck some coconuts and pushed and rushed on him in one of the uncompleted rooms in the house and reportedly inflicted wounds on his back and neck, killing him instantly. Anyway, let's go to the center spread of the news, one pullout of the Daily Guide. As always, this one is interesting. Sister Deborah fights bleaching with nude photos. Yeah. Fantastic. How to fight bleaching with photos. Sister Deborah is showing the way. Deborah Vanessa feels empowered as she announced her return into the nudity market in a unique style. The African mermaid, as she affectionately calls herself, started sharing her latest nude photos on Instagram on Sunday, flaunting her petite figure but well covered. Yo, Amanda GC honored for empowering girls. And then we have pay for my advice. TikTok tells young artists. Yo, I was called a great chicken in school. Chika Ike. Who is she? I'm told she's a Nollywood actress. So basically, those are the stories we have in the Daily Guide. Let's see whether we have the Finder. We do have the Finder. On the front page of the Finder, we have housing. GJ strikes deal for members. Kwan Estates to deliver 100 housing units within a year. Yeah. US-Ghana defense deal requires an ally occupy Ghana. Sir, this is interesting. This is on page 2. Let's read this. You have a picture there of the famous private legal practitioner Ace Ananankoma of Betty Enchel Anankoma Associates. We have Occupy Ghana has charged government to present to Parliament an ally, that's a legislative instrument, on the status, privileges and immunities provided under the U.S. Defense Cooperation Agreement. And they said in a statement, we do not think that Parliament's ratification of the agreement is a substitute for the requirement to pass a legislative instrument under Article 11.7 of the Constitution. According to the pressure group, Section 2 of the Diplomatic Immunities Act demands that the President may, by an ally, make regulations extending any or all of the immunities and privileges conferred on diplomatic agents by virtue of this Diplomatic Immunities Act 1962, Act 148. These are matters of law. We'll see how that goes. Mentally deranged son butchers father to death, and I'm sure it's related to that story from the Ikropon North municipality. We will not compete with you, Naip assures hubs. Local bank CEOs ran to president for cover in the 400 million Ghana cedi minimum capital requirements. This was reported extensively by JoyNews, Joy FM, the rest of the multimedia subsidiary broadcast outlets. So I'm sure that you know more. We'll be discussing it when discussants come into the studio this morning to look at the latest as far as we're concerned, how that story has been repeatedly reported and how the banks, well, whether they are doing well or not. So we'll see how that goes. But let's move on. Look at some other stories. So we know that many of you Also maybe having some difficulties with the rains, etc. But as always, just in case you don't know, you can get interactive with us. Facebook, send us a lot more of your comments. JoyNews on TV is the name of our page on Facebook. Go look out for us. You can watch us there, or also go look out for our channel on YouTube, My Joy Online TV. But send us your comments. If you've been stranded in the rains, or you are in any part of the southern belt or the middle belt of Ghana, you're experiencing the rains, let us know how difficult it is in your area, what difficulty you also find yourself in. Let us share photos with us, videos, etc., and where you're experiencing all those difficulties from. We have the Daily Guide, and the Daily Guide has on the front page Newmont's mine tragedy. The Daily Dispatch newspaper. The Daily Dispatch newspaper has on the front page Newmont mine tragedy as investigations begin. Amawu gives his verdict, civil engineering lapses, and the story is on pages 2 and 12 respectively. So we have families of 6 contract workers who died in the Newmont Ghana Gold Limited for mine accident this past weekend, want the government to ensure that they are adequately compensated. It's a tragedy that has hit the mining industry and the nation as a whole. Greater Accra MPP chairman slot now a 3-man race. And the story on the back page says that candidates vying for, they are not yet candidates, personalities vying for the Greater Accra New Patriotic Party chairman slot have reduced by 1 to 3, and so the 3 in contention are Alfred Boy, said to be a guy, is the acting chairman of the MPP in Greater Accra, and then we also have Divine Agohum, as well as Archibald Kobena and Georgiamu. Okay, but we're told that they've now reduced to 3, so we'll see how that goes. Georgiamu has withdrawn the race. As a former member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. We have, did Newmont Ghana have foreknowledge of structural defects in the structure that collapsed? It's also a question I guess we all keep asking ourselves. They said they didn't know, they didn't have any foreknowledge, but we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. They have other interesting articles about 25 years of democracy versus the reality, and a focus on the insurance industry in Ghana, 2018 report, and the experiences of independent child migrants in Ghana, the city life outside the home. Pretty good articles there. There's also an article on in the Daily Dispatch. Nigerian government to investigate Cambridge Analytica's alleged role in its elections. Cambridge Analytica. Trouble don't come. All right, so basically that's where we get to the various online portals. Let's go to myjoyonline.com. We'll do that first and do the rest. Myjoyonline.com is our premier online portal. So we go to myjoyonline.com. We'll get a couple of some of the latest stories posted on the page. And just in the meantime, you can give us more of your messages on Facebook. If you're stranded in the rain or have had some difficulty when the rain started. It started at dawn, the early parts of dawn or the morning. So just in case you're experiencing some difficulty, let us know. We have government targets 11.3 billion Ghana cedi for second quarter bonds treasury bill sale, and government is apparently considering raising some 11.3 billion Ghana cedis in treasury bills and bond sale for the second quarter of the year, according to the issuance calendar from April to June. Damango, next accused of raping European tourists to face midwifery council. You already know he's been remanded in custody. So we also have the next story that we have to take a look at. Hundreds register for teen in Kumasi. And I don't know, yesterday I saw Is it an address or a portal by which you can go and do, go and register yourself? So it says hundreds register for teen in Kumasi. Residents in Kumasi and its environs are trooping to the Ghana Revenue Authority tax clinics to register and get their tax identification numbers. That's a good one. I did no wrong in procuring 500,000 Ghana cedi in Mercedes-Benz and battled while Polytechnic rector. The multimedia group pushes for justice for assaulted journalists, assaulted reporter. It says the multimedia group says it will push for justice for its reporter who has suffered a fractured skull following an assault by the police. We are ready to provide Opuni all the documents he needs, according to the Attorney General. And then we have, that's my opinion, building a Ghana within aid. Well, I have to say good morning to a good friend of mine who is watching me. Says, good morning, my boss. I thought distance could deny me the opportunity to watch and listen to a newspaper review. So, but thanks to Multimedia Digibox Decoder, I made it easier. I'm watching you live in Tamale. Awal Mohammed, good morning to you, my good friend from Ashaiman. I have, it says the next story we're looking at is a 400 million Ghana cedi capital requirement. Local banks, CEOs seek Akufo-Addo's intervention. I told her they were locked in a meeting which ended in a deadlock. I will see how that goes. We'll discuss all that this morning. We'll go up. We have other stories. Nagrat suspends strike as government promises to clear salary arrears of 10,000 teachers. Inconsistencies in mining strategy show lack of seriousness. And then there's a woman who apparently who has 4 men that she has relationships with. That's great. I don't know how she manages though. If King Solomon was able to manage all those women and concubines, I'm sure one woman should be able to manage 4. No problem. No offense. It's no offense. No, this one is not blasphemy. So I think we have all those videos there. They're all linked to my Joy Online TV. That is our regular channel on YouTube. So you can just go there. You can look at the Newmont mining disaster. You can watch Joy Sports Prime, Joy News Prime, Joy Entertainment Prime, etc. All right. So let's go to City Newsroom. So we go to City Newsroom. And City Newsroom has Nagrat suspend strike over arrears. Asokore Mampong, Washing Bay attendant drowns in water tank. For Newmont accident, we have families of deceased cry for compensation. Mahama was charitable. MPP is hopelessly incompetent. That's Kwachi Ofosu, was a former deputy minister of information, I believe, or communication, appropriately. Reverend Owusu Bempa appointed to the Gender Ministry's Breast Cancer Board. Let's read the story of Reverend Owusu Bempa appointed to the board. Let's read the story. We'll read the story, but the other story is also on UMass students. They've developed alcohol detecting device to curb drink driving. That's a good one. We do good things in Ghana too. A Ghana-US deal was rushed. LI needed to give troops privileges. Now let's look at Reverend Dr. Owusu Bempa. It says controversial preacher and founder of the Glorious Word Power Ministry, Isaac Owusu Bempa, has been appointed to the Cancer Board of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. The 16-member board was inaugurated by Gender Minister Utiku Afisa-Jaba earlier on Monday. And the board, they include President and founder of Breast Care International, Dr. Mrs. Beatrice Weafiadai. Good morning to you, Dr. Weafiadai. It's been a while. who will chair the board, and Deputy Health Minister Tina Mensah, Charity Binka, a lecturer at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, my former boss as well. Good morning to you, Professor Binka. And then we have a management and communication consultant, Joy Saye and Bafwe, were a radiation oncologist at the Komfanachi Teaching Hospital, among others. We also have Emmanuel Sebwache, who is also a member of the board. Good morning to you, my former boss, Emmanuel Sebwache. And Owusu Bempah is widely known for his controversial statement and prophecy. Okay, we know all that, so let's go. All right, so we have other stories there. Baby Jet Airlines to start operations by end of 2018, according to the GCAA. So GN Bank has also donated 20 million Ghana cedis from OPEC for expansion, or has obtained, rather. All right. Mahama is Africa's most incompetent election observer, etc., etc. And we're told that this was written in a post by the Deputy Minister of Information, Amadou Kua. All right. So those will be basically the stories. Let's see whether we can go to the Africa page of the BBC, if there is. Rangers killed at Congo Gorilla Park. Suspected rebels have killed 5 rangers and their driver in the Virunga National Park. That place is always not safe. But let's scroll up. We have the run-up of stories. Oscar Pistorius appeal bid dismissed. And South Africa's Constitutional Court has apparently dismissed Paralympian's bid appeal against his 13-year murder sentence, and more stories. But what is catching the eyes? Nigeria's Buhari, 74, is seeking a second term. The announcement ends months of speculation about the 74-year-old leader's plans. If Mugabe was able to go, why not Buhari? Good morning to you, General Buhari. The handshake that left millions of Kenyans confused. And we have other stories there. Ghana's Aduana Stars win big in Comfort Cup. And Kane confident of beating Salah to golden boots. Let's go up. I don't think that is possible. Going by the way Mohamed Salah has been playing, and Kane is injured. Has he returned to the fold of Tottenham? I think I have to ask Benedict for that. And Tunisia, they have an injury blow to their squad. Skani is out of, I hope Masakani is out of the World Cup squad. He's injured, playing for his club. That's a sad one. Milton Nkosi on Winnie Mandela, the woman who refused to be broken. Fumza Fulani, Zuma supporters tried to drown out corruption charges. So we have other stories there. Basically, those will be the story. As always, we have the Facebook platform open for you. Let us know what you're experiencing this morning. The rains have been hitting hard on the southern belt of the country, the coastal belt especially. But if you're in the middle belt, you have been experiencing. I remember I got some alerts on my platform about the meteorological agency just the last 12 hours giving us an indication that there was some wind coming from Lagos. They always do that. We didn't believe them. Then it rained from the beginning of this dawn. So let us know where you are. If you're stranded, your place is flooded, etc. Let us know. Ghana we day. But we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more for you on the show. It's still the AM show right here on the channel.